Hi there, fight fans. My name is Kian Lang, and I'm very happy to say that I'm today joined by UFC Light Heavyweight contender Modestas Bukauskas. Modestas, how are we doing today?
Doing very well, thank you, brother. Good to speak to you.
And you, man. Obviously, we're a couple of weeks removed now from your win at UFC 315. Have you had a chance to watch that fight back?
Yes, I have. I've watched it with commentary, without commentary, every way possible to watch it. I've watched it on a flat screen on my phone, in every way.
And obviously, looking back at the performance in the win, how do you look back and reflect on that?
Let's be honest, it wasn't my best. I felt like I was a lot more hesitant, but obviously at the end of the day, there's a lot of dangers to come from Kutalabi. He's a very
Definitely.
reckless character in the cage. He's very skilled. He's got good wrestling, good striking. So to fight a guy, and again, this is edging towards the top 15. So, there's a lot on the line here. So maybe that made me a little bit more cautious, sort of, playing. But the main thing is, I barely got hit. I don't know
Yeah.
where these stats are coming from, but if you look at my face and you look at his face, it's a completely different story. So from that perspective, I was happy that I was able to keep it at range and beat a very high level guy. But I definitely felt I could have done a hell of a lot better. But I've already figured out certain things that I need to do in order to get that performance out of me, and a lot of it really I think is just mentally.
Yeah. And it feels like to me, I mean, it was a very similar performance to one that Lerone Murphy had a month ago to Josh Emmett, where almost when a guy has such good footwork, the other guy just can't get close. Fans get frustrated by it. But if you look at the fight, you definitely landed the cleaner shots. Did you feel like watching it back, you definitely got that win?
Oh, 100%, mate. Like, this is the thing. Watching it back just sort of confirmed it for me. I
Yeah.
think a lot of people's views were swayed, number one, by betting, because a lot of people are betting on these fights and they lose their parlay and they decide to take out on the fighter, especially if it's a close fight as well. And then obviously with just the commentary, like I said, I just couldn't really understand why uh, they were so badly sort of against me getting that win. I definitely felt I had the more meaningful strikes, the ones that landed like cleaner. But yeah, like, I know I definitely could have fought a lot better, but I think if you look at the damaging strikes, who landed more, it's definitely got to go on my side. I mean, if you look at the amount of 1-2s that were popping his head back, I mean, it's completely different. Okay, got kicked in the leg a couple times and stuff like this. And but yeah, aside from that, couldn't take me down either. So, you know, after watching it back, it just solidified what I'd already thought. Because as soon as I left the cage, I'm like, oh, I got the win. I was happy because when I heard the decision, I'm like, okay. Even the way I fought the fight, I was like, I definitely could have edged this one. And
Yeah.
yeah, it went my way. Obviously, some of the judges' scorecards. Listen, I don't think I won 30-27. Let's be honest. Yeah, that was a bit weird to me. I was like 29-28. Yes, I'll take that. But 30-27. Come on now. So yeah. But overall, I'm back. I'm back to training. I'm back training with Tom. So everything is now moving back to the direction of getting ready for whatever's next.
Yeah, and you mentioned their training with Tom. The whole team at the moment at Team Aspinall is just on fire. It seems like you've got you, Aspinall. Obviously, what he's done is well documented. A guy like Simeon Powell, who his win in the PFL was. If people haven't watched that, they need to go and watch that. Combination knockout was just incredible. Is there just a confidence in the air at the gym at the moment that every time you guys go into a fight, you just feel like you're gonna win?
Well, I think yeah, when you're training with such high level guys on a consistent basis, and you're constantly being pushed in so many different directions, and you're really having to test. And the thing is, in training, the good thing is we're all, I guess you say the group of guys, we're all quite humble guys. You know what I mean? We're all just trying to get better. We're not trying to, we're not trying to kill each other. Obviously, there's spars where you go a little bit harder, but it's all part of the process. Everyone's got a sort of a philosophy of just trying to get better. Tom's always working on new tricks. He's never necessarily, oh, I got to win the round. He's thinking, oh, okay, now let me try and work this, and then if this works, let's try something else. And
Yeah.
I think that's a great philosophy just for training in general, just to constantly want to improve. And it's good now. I've actually got the time because I haven't got a fight camp to actually just work on. Okay, let me just try different things, work on other things. Obviously help Simeon as well because he's got a fight coming up very shortly. But yeah, helping the team, and then yeah, at the same time just trying to improve my own skills. So the fact that we've got that sort of aura of development within the team, I think that's what makes us so good. Is just that because we're constantly trying to improve, you can't help but improve. So that
Yeah.
in turn gives you confidence, you know.
Yeah. And looking back a little bit, I'm not going to talk about the Khalil Roundtree fight because it feels like you get asked that every single interview. But following on from that, you go back over to Cage Warriors, you win the belt back again, have two brilliant performances over there. How much good did that do for your confidence in rebuilding yourself? And you come over now and look at the second run, and you seem unstoppable at the moment, man.
Thank you, mate. I appreciate that. You know what? I think actually, again, going back to the Khalil fight, it was probably one of the best things that could have happened to me. Um, in terms of it, just sometimes, God saves his toughest test for his strongest soldiers. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I feel like that was needed for me to make a lot of I made a lot of changes, like even like relationships. Like I decided I'm just going to be on my own. Whilst I got this career going. Because I had a girlfriend at the time, so even that, just now I'm like fully focused on myself, having a bit of a darker side to my mentality when I'm actually going in there, having a more of a war mentality, and then just like being able to switch stances, change. There's a lot of it, and I'm still learning, but those things
Yeah.
initially, that's what made me sort of separate myself already, because I knew and even still now I know how good I am. It's just about putting it out there, and definitely you've seen a lot more performances where I am, showing more of my capabilities. Unfortunately, not so much in the last one, but again, that was another step up in competition, another step up in what's at stake. So I feel like now I'm gonna have to make other little adjustments, which I'm already making. I learned so many things, and what I realize is that we're fighting as you're going through it. As long as you take the lessons and you learn from it, you're always going to come out on the better side of things. If you just sit there and just keep doing what you're doing, you're going to get the same result. Do you know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
insanity to think like that. So yeah, so that's pretty much what's made me do so well. It's just that, like I said, that constant air of improvement, and then just believing in yourself, and having a point to prove as well. Because a lot of people thought my career was over. A lot of people thought oh, this guy's no good, and stuff like this. So I had to show people, like, listen, you lot are chatting shit. Do you know what I mean? So I needed, and I still have that, especially from the last fight. All of this just adds fuel to the fire, and it can only benefit you. You can't look at those things as a negative. Yeah, it was a dark time when things were tough, but you got to use that as energy, and I did, and I continue to use it today, all the way until the belt, mate.
Oh man, that's an incredible mindset to have. And looking forward, it seems like now 3 fight win streak, you're 5-1 since you came back in. It has to be a top 15 opponent for me. Is that how you're thinking?
Well, that's 100% what I'm thinking. I don't know what the UFC brass has in mind, but ultimately, you got guys like Ming Yang Zhang, you got Johnny Walker, you got Gooskov, you got all these guys like in the top 15. I really want to test myself against those guys, and I feel like I'm ready to do that now. And again, having learned the lesson, that Kutalaba fight was almost for me preparation for the top 15,
Yeah.
especially mentally. Do you know what I mean? Like mentally, that was a big sort of jump. And now I feel like I've gained so many things from that fight, so many like almost realizations that I'm just like, okay, now I'm ready to go for it. So yeah, mate. We'll see what happens. I'll be ready. No, like that's why I'm training now. A lot of people, saying, "Oh, you should take some time." And yeah, like, but this is how I take my time off. I go to training, and look, I'll do maybe one session today, maybe two sessions tomorrow, and maybe rest the next day, and then train. Do you know what I mean? I'm just trying to improve right now, so I'm keeping
Yeah.
that. So if there's something that does come up around the corner, I'll be ready to go. And the good thing is that I've had to learn to adopt that mentality, because when I was coming back from the injury, it was a case of like, oh, like there's no fights coming, or when am I, when am I going to fight? It was like literally like a whole year that I was just like, what's going on? And then next thing you know, it pops up on short notice, and especially with the UFC fight. So now I've always got the idea of, okay, I'm always going to stay in shape, and yeah. So if something does pop up, mate, I'll be ready to go.
Well, personally, selfishly, I'm hoping it's Abu Dhabi because I've got a ticket to that one, so I'm hoping to see you out there, man.
Oh, mate,
Hopefully.
100%, 100%. Hey, listen, if it happens, then yeah, we'll get it going. But I just stay ready. That's what I do. So I'll just be training, helping the other lads, and then the best way to sort of live your life is just to be ready for when the opportunity comes. Not wait for the opportunity, but just be ready for when it does. That if it comes out of nowhere. So yeah, man.
And just one final one from me. And again, I can't thank you enough for your time today,
No
mate.
worries.
Walking out there in Montreal and you've got your dad by your side and your dad in your corner. How special is that? That's like, I mean, that's the dream to every man, isn't it?
Oh, mate, every single fight, and it's funny because he gets more calm and comfortable as every fight goes, just because we've been there so many times, and he sees how I do in training, so he comes in there a little bit more. Like obviously he's very intense, like obviously you've got your son about to go and fight in a cage in front of thousands of people, but at the same time he comes with an aura of a little bit more like sort of relaxed mindset, but like an intense mindset, and I love it because even in the corner. Like in the locker room beforehand, you can just feel that intensity, but it's not a scared intensity. It's like an intensity of like, I know how good you are, boy. Like I know you can do it. So I love that, and we're literally traveling. It's almost like a fairy tale, isn't it? Like traveling the
Yeah.
world with your dad, getting into fist fights. I mean, you can't really ask for anything better. And I've got some really close people around me as well that literally have been following me around the world. Like one of my really good friends, his name's Jit. He literally, I think, as soon as I got the short notice, he came on short notice to Australia when it was like a
Wow.
week and a half or whatever. Got tickets for him and his son. Or I had the tickets, but he got the plane tickets, and he's literally been to every single one of my UFC fights since then. Since then, so he's been all around the world with me. So it's amazing to have that family environment, that family spirit, wherever I go. And yes, stemming from my dad, and then the rest of the group that's always with me.
That's incredible, man. And I can't thank you enough for your time today. It's been an absolute honor to speak to you, bro. Hope to see you
Mate,
back
been
in
a
the
pleasure
cage and back
speaking to you
winning.
too. Yeah,
Thank you
thank you
very
so
much, man.
much, mate. Honestly, been an absolute pleasure. You're a great guy. Keep up the good work, mate. And yeah, I'll chat to you soon, I'm sure.